So this is the second lesson for today over point of view. Point of view is the perspective that a story is told from. Think of it as whose eyes are seeing the story, who's telling that story. There are 3 points of view that you're going to see commonly. First person is told from the eyes of a character. It uses the word I to describe what's happening, and we can only see what that character sees. Third person limited is told by a narrator who's not a character in the story, and they use he, she, or they. But the narrator can still only see one character's thoughts. So for instance, in Harry Potter, it uses a limited narrator. It's told in third person. It says something like Harry wanted to go to class. So it's using he, she, they. But you can only see Harry's thoughts. Versus third person omniscient would be told by a narrator. That narrator is all knowing. They can see what's going on in everybody's heads, everybody's thoughts and feelings. Third person gets really tricky, so think of it this way. Limited, one person's thoughts. Omniscient is all-seeing. They're an eye in the sky, and they can see into everybody's brain, like it's almost creepy. Omniscient has full knowledge of all characters in all situations. That's why it has this eye in the sky. It's all-knowing. It can see in her head and in his head. It can see what she's feeling and what he's feeling and tell you. Versus limited, only know what's going on in the heart and mind of one person. So it may be a narrator telling the story, but it can only see from his point of view. So what you're going to do today is you are going to practice with some individual passages and label each passage with the point of view. The first one says, Josh loved to cook. He thought it was one of the best hobbies because he was creative and he could eat his creations. Stephanie, on the other hand, did not like cooking at all. She would much rather order her food because she felt that it was much quicker and easier that way. Okay, well, let's look at this passage. There is no I. It's not being told from the I, me point of view. So it's not first person. It has to be third. Now we have to decide whether it's omniscient or limited. Well, how many people's thoughts and feelings can we see? We can see 2 because we can see Josh's point of view and we can see Stephanie's point of view. The narrator knows what's going on in both of their heads. That means this is third person omniscient. If you look at number 3, it says James was sitting in class feeling very unfocused. He looked at his classmates to see how they were doing. He thought everyone seems very focused on their work. He took a deep breath, looked at his paper, and decided to get to work. Again, this has to be third person because it's not saying I did this, my work. Somebody said this to me. So it can't be first person. It has to be third. How many people's thoughts can we see? Just James's thoughts. It's only from James's point of view. The narrator can't see into the other into his classmate's head. That means this has to be third person limited. What you're going to do is you are going to finish the remaining task cards on your own. My in-person learners have a class set and they're going to write on the recording sheet, but you should be able to find all of them together in your OneNote. And you obviously can write on your own OneNote. If you need help, feel free to pause the video here and look at these notes.